42% of companies have already abandoned most of their AI projects. The ones using Zapier with Claude are hitting the same three walls every single time. You build the Zap, it works once, then it silently breaks, and you have no idea why. Let's walk through exactly where it fails, and how to fix it before it costs you. Here's what that looks like in real time. A new row lands in a Google Sheet. Client name is Acme Corp, status is on track, achievements is launch beta feature. Next steps is schedule review call. Zapier fires the trigger, pulls column C instead of column D, and sends Claude a prompt where the achievements field reads schedule review call and next steps is completely blank. Claude generates a confident, well-written update. The email goes out. Acme Corp reads that their next step is nothing. Zapier logged that run as a success. No error. Green checkmark. The only signal anything went wrong is a confused client, and you will not find out until they reply. Or do not. This is one pipeline, Google Sheets feeding Claude feeding Gmail. The system map most setups skip is what determines whether the output is useful or quietly wrong. The part nobody warns you about is not the automation. It is what happens before Claude ever sees a single word. API key errors kill more first-run setups than anything else. The Anthropic console generates a key, you copy it, paste it into Zapier. And it fails. Not because the key is wrong. A trailing space came along when you copied it. Or the account has no billing method attached. Or it went into a generic credentials field instead of the specific API key field. These are not edge cases. This is the default experience for first-time setups. Fix this before you touch anything else. Generate a fresh key, copy it with no surrounding whitespace, paste it into the correct field, and re-authenticate. That step alone resolves a significant share of first-run failures. Now the subtler problem. Prompt failures do not crash the Zap. They produce output that looks fine until someone actually reads it. Send Claude something vague. Update client on project, and what comes back is generic filler. The client's name is not in there. The actual status is not in there. But the Zap ran. It succeeded. The email was sent. A prompt that actually works looks like this. Write a 3-sentence project status update for. Status is achievements this week. Next steps. Use a professional but friendly tone. Return plain text only, no bullet points, no markdown. That last line matters more than most people expect. And there is a specific reason why, which becomes clear in the next section. A freelancer managing 8 to 10 active clients goes from roughly 3 hours a week writing updates manually to about 10 minutes reviewing them. That is the actual leverage point here. Here is the failure point almost every tutorial skips. It is responsible for more mysterious broken zaps than anything else. Zapier's standard timeout is 10 seconds. If Claude does not respond inside that window, Zapier kills the step and logs a generic error. No indication that Claude was the bottleneck. Claude Haiku typically responds in 2 to 4 seconds. Claude Sonnet can take 5 to 12 seconds, sometimes longer. Anthropic's API documented a major routing anomaly in April 2026 that caused widespread failures, so even a correctly built Zap can fail on timing alone. The fix is model selection and prompt discipline. Use Claude Haiku for Zapier automations. Keep input text under 200 words for first tests. Explicitly request short output, respond in 3 sentences or fewer. These are not stylistic preferences. They are the difference between a Zap that completes and one that silently times out. Now here is where this blindsides you. Imagine the achievements field was left blank. Zapier fires anyway. Claude receives an empty field and fills in plausible sounding achievements on its own. The output looks polished. It ships to the client. The achievements it invented are wrong. This is not a Claude failure. It is a missing guardrail. Add a Zapier filter step before the Claude node. If achievements is empty, stop the Zap. One filter step catches this before Claude ever sees the data. On the output side, without explicit instructions, Claude often returns markdown. Bold headers, dashes, asterisks. In a plain text Gmail body, those render as literal characters. Adding return only the update text with no markdown and no formatting eliminates roughly 90% of output parsing failures based on patterns documented across common Zapier Claude integration setups. If formatting still comes back messy, a Zapier formatter step between the Claude node and Gmail can strip it. What used to require manual cleanup now requires nothing. Field mapping errors are the failure mode that looks most like success. The Zap runs. The email sends. The data is just wrong. Google Sheets columns are labeled generically in Zapier. Column A, column B, column C, column D. Map column C when you meant column D, and the wrong value goes into Claude's prompt. No warning. Claude writes well around whatever it receives. But what it received was not what you intended. The fix happens during Zapier's trigger test step before building the Claude node. When Zapier pulls a sample row, click into each mapped field and verify the actual value. Client name should show a real client name, not a project status. If values are swapped here, they are swapped in every email that follows. There is also the output side. After Claude responds, Zapier needs to know which field to insert into the Gmail body. If the wrong output field gets mapped, or if a formatter step creates a new field and Gmail is still pointed at the old one, the email body will be empty or filled with raw metadata. Always verify the output field chain after adding any new step. Start with the smallest version that can complete one full run. Connect Google Sheets as the trigger and test with one real row, all 4 fields filled in. Add the Claude node with a structured prompt set to haiku and test it in isolation using Zapier's test step. Add a Gmail step, map Claude's output field to the email body, and send one test email to yourself. Read that email. If the formatting is clean and the content is accurate, the pipeline is working. Only then add the formatter or filter step if needed. The connection is straightforward. Google Sheets sends client_name, project_status, achievements, and next_steps to Claude via Zapier's Anthropic integration. Claude returns plain text. That output field maps directly to Gmail's message body. Test with a complete row first, then test with a blank field. Confirm the filter catches it before Claude fires. Most people debug the Claude step first. That is almost never where the actual problem is. The failure is usually one layer upstream. A field mapped to the wrong column, a key with a hidden space, a blank input Claude fills in with invented content. A Deloitte Tech Trends 2026 report found only 11% of organizations have agentic AI workflows running live, while 38% are stuck in the pilot phase. The gap is not the AI, it is the plumbing around it. Zapier logs all runs for 30 days on paid plans. Clicking into a failed run shows the exact input Claude received and the exact output it returned. That 2-minute review identifies the failure point every time. A bad API key, a vague prompt, a timeout from the wrong model, a formatting mismatch, or a field mapped to the wrong column. Those 5 things account for nearly every first-run failure in this setup. Every single one has a specific fix that takes under 5 minutes. Once this pipeline is clean and running, the next question is what happens when a client replies, and you need Claude to read that reply, understand the context, and draft a response that already knows the project history. That system is where this automation goes next, and it changes the scope of what one person can manage on their own.